I'm Cape Joel, and this is the Cape TV Roundup, a show where we take a look at some of the very best this week had to offer in nerdy TV shows. Now, on Tuesday night, we had the newest episode of The Flash entitled Monster. Barry's still in between places at the moment, which means he's crashing with Cisco, and Jesus, it just mirrored, does Cisco have himself a sweet-ass loft? I mean, this place is better than Barry's old house. Barry isn't the only guest with problems, as everyone is still trying to get used to HR. A lot of Team Flash is having buyer's remorse over this guy. Oh sure, he works hard to make everyone like him, but he's such a dork. And when he begins to not really pull his weight on the newest mission, everyone is beginning to think, hey, he might be evil. And it wouldn't be the first time it's like they got burned by Harrison Wells, and this guy is no different. It turns out on his Earth, he's not a genius at all. He's an author and pitchman who wanted to come to the main Earth for more material for his next book. In short, he's totally useless, but the team decides to keep him on anyway because he might have good ideas. Really, just ideas. Anyone can have a good idea. Seriously, if you were going to try this hard to write a new kind of Wells, why didn't you just write a better, proper reason for Harry Wells from Earth 2 to stay? Now, as the title might suggest, the threat of this week is not a metahuman, but a giant kaiju-sized monster. Seriously, this thing reminded me of the Cloverfield monster. This is a really cool idea, especially as you don't get this sort of thing on action television. The monster is shot just right, too. Always just far enough away so you can't see the imperfections, and during the big fight at the end, they're sure to shoot him in the dark like they did with King Shark and Gorilla Grodd. To discover the truth about the monster attacks, Barry must join forces with Julian Malfoy, who was already trying to get him in trouble with Headmaster Singh and steal 5 points from Flash House. Turns out Julian doesn't hate metahumans like the Flash because he thinks they're all bad, he just thinks they're wasting their great potential. A stance that dovetails quite nicely when we eventually find out who was behind the monster. Julian sounds a lot like the sort of person who we might see getting some powers down the line. Heck, if you needed a smart guy who was also kind of a dick to help fill the Wells role, why not let Julian join the team? Now, the B portion of Flash this week involved Caitlin getting back in touch with her mother for some help sorting out her new superpowers. Turns out Mommy Snow is a giant ice queen, and honestly, it's not surprising why we haven't seen or heard about her up until this point. It's clear she's being set up to be an antagonist for this season, and I'm interested to see where they could go with this. I always like familial connections when it comes to villains. Monsters was another enjoyable, if unextraordinary, episode. The giant creature stuff was a nice outside-the-box idea, even if I could kind of tell where it was going pretty quick. I'm also not feeling the HR stuff or how much time he took up in this episode, but hey, if anyone can save it, it's actor Tom Cavanaugh. Overall, I would give this one a 7 out of 10. Also on Tuesday, we had Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. with the episode The Good Samaritan, and oh man, was this a big one. Half of the episode was actually a flashback to Eli Morrow's time working on the experiment that was powered by the Darkhold. Turns out the ghost people were actually into zero matter and dark force energy, which makes a lot of sense considering that this season takes place in LA, and season 2 of Agent Carter and everything that was going on with Madame Mask, that was in LA too. With things heating up all around him, Coulson and his team are forced to bring in Gabe for his own protection. This means Robbie is finally forced to come clean to his brother about his double life as a vigilante. And on top of that, the audience gets yet another flashback to see how Robbie got his powers in the first place, and oh wow, we get to see who can really only be Johnny Blaze, a biker who saved Robbie from the brink of death, only to give him his crazy spirit of vengeance powers. Or maybe, as in follow me on this one, Robbie was making some sort of deal with a metaphorical devil. Could that possibly have been Mephisto taking the form of the original Ghost Rider? Kind of a fun idea. The agent's continued maverick actions are also starting to rub up against director Mace, who has just about had enough of it. This leads to a super awesome battle between Ghost Rider and the Inhuman Mace. Man, did you ever think we would be getting something like this on television? Jeez, has this show grown by leaps and bounds in just a couple seasons. Now, all of these factors play into the much bigger story of the ghost scientists trying to recreate their experiment with Morrow, even if it means killing a bunch of innocent people in the process. Ghost Rider is the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.'s best weapon in this fight, but Robbie soon finds out that maybe things with the attack on him and his brother were not as they first assumed. Yeah, that's right, everybody. Much like in the comics, Eli Morrow turns out to be a bad bad guy after all, who wanted the Darkhold for his own yet-to-be-seen purposes. The Good Samaritan is going to be the last of new episodes for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. we're going to see for at least a couple weeks now, so I'm happy to say that they left things on a pretty high note. The focus on the Reyes family dynamic was a nice touch, but Coulson and the other agents had plenty to do and thankfully didn't get lost in the shuffle. Man, it's going to be really hard to top this season when it's all said and done, especially as the stakes have been so high week to week like this. Overall, I would give this one a very good 8 out of 10. With that out of the way, we come to Thursday's episode of Legends of Tomorrow, and it was called Abomination. For once, we got a setup that's not dumb. A time pirate hauling some volatile chemicals crash lands during the Civil War, and because this episode hit around the same time as Halloween, we got ourselves a zombie episode. You know, I get the feeling a lot more people were upset by this whole zombie twist, but you know what, I'm a person who stayed away from pretty much all zombie fiction as of recently, so it didn't bug me nearly as much. The Walking Dead is a problem because apparently it could cost the Union the Civil War if they don't get some very important intel. It's not the bigger problem that there's zombies that, you know, would kill everyone, not just the Union. Furthermore, if you guys are from the future, why don't you just, you know, open up a textbook and give the Union the information they need to win this important battle? You didn't have to steal anything. You have a time machine. Now, seeing as this was an era of slavery, Jax and Vixen get to take center stage. I like Stein tries to protect his surrogate son from the horrors of history, only for Jax to rightly reply by saying, hey man, racism never went away. And you know, if you care so much, Stein, why do you keep letting this guy go out on missions on his own where, you know, you two can't fuse together as Firestorm? That will never not bug me. I can appreciate that the show tried earnestly to make a point about America's history of racism, especially as in past episodes like the ones in the Wild West, they just sort of put their fingers in their ears, closed their eyes, and ignored the elephant in the room. It also felt a little weird to me that everyone worries about Jax more than they do the actual slaves that they save. Also, hey, can we talk about Vixen for a second? I like the Vixen on this show, but seriously, why did Mari McCabe get 2 animated shows and an episode on Arrow, but we've seen more of this Vixen than we have any other? Also, does she know that she can summon upon the abilities of other animals, not just strength? She can fly like a bird or swim like a fish? Abomination did have an explosive conclusion with Jax freeing the slaves while Citizen Steel risked life and limb to end the zombie threat. Also, there was something too about a famous general giving Sarah some information on being a leader, but whatever. This season of Legends has improved, I won't lie. It's just there's still a bunch of really dumb, tone-deaf writing that holds it back from being anything special. Overall, I would give this one a 6.5 out of 10. And with that, we come to the final show of the week, Saturday's Star Wars Rebels, and the episode was called Imperial Super Commandos, an awesome name for what ended up being an awesome episode. The focus this time around was on Sabine, and for once I feel like we actually did learn something important about her. You see, she's trying to reach out to Fen Rao, the Mando leader of the Protectors, who the rebels captured in order to get safe passage through Protector space. For so long, Sabine has been the only Mandalorian we've seen on the series, so it's kind of interesting that, you know, she takes to hanging out with Rao, even though they don't seem to get along or like each other at all. The Protectors, as we find out, have come under attack by the Empire, which means Ezra and Sabine must investigate. Only when they get there, they run into the new Super Commandos, Mandalorians loyal to the Empire. Their designs are really awesome, by the way, taking a ton of inspiration from early Boba Fett concept artwork and also some new stuff. In a nice bit of continuity, the Commandos' leader is from Clan Vizsla, the same clan as Sabine, which makes a ton of sense why she hasn't talked about herself or her past so much on the show, because her family may or may not be supporting the Empire, and that would be pretty awkward. Action was on full display this episode. We get to see Sabine finally don a Boba Fett-style jetpack, and it leads to an amazing canyon chase scene. In the end, too, Sabine must stand tall against one of her own people, and we get a cool one-on-one fistfight while everything burns all around them. So yeah, this was another great winner of an episode. I would give this one a 9 out of 10. So that'll just about do it for me and another TV roundup. What was your favorite show from the week? Feel free to tell me down in the comments section below, and I will be back again to do this again later. Hey everyone, thanks so much for watching my newest video. I hope you enjoyed it, and while you're here, why not check out another video I have on offer, or maybe if you're feeling in a supportive mood, you want to like or subscribe. And if you want to support the creation of more videos just like this one, then please by all means check out the Kate Joel Patreon. A little bit goes a very long way, and I will see you all next time.